Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel and welcome to the weekly book steep where I am not at all organised because I overslept this morning and I need to film. So here we are. We have no drink. We have bare basic notes and this is an interesting wrap up because there are a lot of books for a vlog project, which the vlog came out on Friday and you'll have seen all of those books that I was talking about in that video. There were a lot of rereads and like two new books outside of that. So I am going to highly recommend, if you haven't seen Friday's vlog, go check that out because I talk about a lot of the books that I read over the weekend that starts this wrap up, which is my reading wrap up from the 1st until the 7th of August. I read or reread 11 picture books for filming purposes. I also read 2 novels and 2 picture books that are all for review in September. So this is that pile, which I'm not going to talk about now, but I do have to film videos for them today so I don't forget. I completed my 5th reread of the Ilona Andrews Innkeeper Chronicles series. So I read One Fell Sweep, Sweep with Me, Sweep of the Blade, and also Sweep of the Heart, but that's not on the list. So somehow I have not counted that in my stats today. That's weird. So I also read Sweep of the Heart. None of my stats apparently include Sweep of the Heart because I don't know what I did with that. I might need to go put that back into the info. I also reread Reignite by Jodi, which I had as an audiobook. This is a novella that you get through Jodi's website. I specifically wanted to re-listen to the audiobook, which I think I did do that reread in the vlog because Nick J. Russo was narrating it and I really like Nick J. Russo as a narrator and it was a good time. It's a novella-length romance set in the world of the Chicago Thunder. I also reread Bromantic, Puckboy by Finley and Saxon. This one I will talk a little bit more about. It's been a while since I talked about the individual books in the Puckboys series. This is book 6. I had the audiobook out from Libby. At the moment I'm doing my reread just as those holds are coming in. This is Miles and Cody's story. So Cody has a reputation for meeting a woman, falling in love, marrying her, and then getting divorced. He has 4 ex-wives. And he loves the idea of love, but can't seem to make marriage stick. And it's not even that he appears to be terrible with women or have a lack of respect for them. He just is terrible at compartmentalizing his feelings and recognizing that just because you sleep with someone doesn't mean that you don't need to marry them. So he has moved teams, moved states, and is the new guy in Nashville, and he's desperate not to find wife number 5. He unintentionally becomes friends with Miles, who is the rookie goalie on the team. Miles is very, very quirky. The thing that I forgot that this was the book where we met Miles and that Miles has pet rocks. Miles is also connected to the Frat Wars universe. They strike up this very weird, very unconventional friendship at first, and then they end up falling for one another. And of course, being a Puckboy series, it is very much idiots to lovers. Both of them have never considered the fact that they could ever be attracted to a guy, and yet they are. Part of the story is Miles struggling with whether or not, once he decides that he does like Cody and he's quite happy with that, but he's not sure whether he can come out or even tell his family because he's concerned that his family will think negatively of him from comments that they've made in the past and the fact that they're quite religious. And so that is his stressor in this book as opposed to an external one. But I did really like Miles's family and how they communicated what they were feeling in that moment as well. So yeah, it was fun to revisit them and only 4 more books to go and I'm just waiting on audiobooks now. In the vlog I read Zeus and Hazard by Finley, which were the final 2 books in the Mike Bravo Up series. They were audiobook reads. I also read Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee, and then I read Hit It and Quit It by Kelly Reynolds, which is the first book in the Rose City Roasters baseball romance series. So I've read the last 2 books so far that are currently out in the series. I've read them as arcs and I'm slowly going to make my way through reading the initial books in the series. You can read them all as standalones, they're interconnected, but it was really fun because we have Clark, who is a Southern Belle who is about to get married but has decided she can't go through with it because her fiance has cheated on her and she refuses to marry him despite the fact that her family wants her to because she is the prized possession of her family who just want to marry her off. And it's her relationship with Soren, who is kind of the bad boy of the piece, and he obviously plays baseball. Clark ends up getting a job working in the PR area for the team and they fall in love. And this is a neighbours to lovers story. They are living next door to each other initially when they first moved to town. Given that Clark has had a fairly sheltered upbringing, she ends up with a sex list. That's what she and Soren begin to explore. That, is the basis for their relationship. And it was great. It's Kelly Reynolds. She writes a funny time. Her books are always casually queer. There's always queer characters in her story. They're always fun. They're always female-centered and really body positive and fun and engaging, and there is a girl gang playing D&D, and I love it. And then the last book, or really it's 2 books, but I happen to have them in one bind-up edition that I read, and this was a work thing, was Once and Then by Maurice Gleitzman, which is a middle fiction World War II story. And so I have this thing, I'm not a World War II historical fiction person. I can objectively say a book is good. These books are great. The reason that I read them is that one of the year levels at my school is just finishing up reading Once, and they wanted to do Then as their next tech study unit. And if I'm to help them, which is part of my role at the school, I need to read the books, and I'd never read them because I was never interested in World War II historical fiction. So I read it, and I have notes because there are a number of considerations I think they need to take into account when reading Then, because it's a little bit different to Once. Once and Then are from the perspective of Felix, who is a Jewish boy who at the beginning of the first book is living in Catholic or Christian orphanage, and he ends up escaping there, trying to find his parents who owned a bookstore. Along the way, he collects a young girl called Zelda, who is 5 or 6 at the start of the book, and they're trying to make their way to find their parents. Zelda's parents have died. We infer that Felix's parents have also been killed. They end up staying with a man called Barney, who tries to protect as many Jewish children as he can. He is a dentist. Then Felix and Zelda are separated from the rest of the group, and they end up hiding with a woman called Genia, who is sympathetic to the Jews. And essentially then is the radicalization of Felix as he finally really understands the implications of everything that's going on, and as a number of people that he is very close to are killed, and he is forced to confront his feelings on that. So it is quite a heavy book. Once is probably the gentler of the 2, Then is quite in your face in terms of everything that happens. All very age appropriate, but when you're teaching a book like that, you have to be mindful, you have to actually read it. But as a stylistic choice, Felix is the narrator. He is meant to be a great storyteller, but every chapter in Once begins with the word once, and every chapter in Then begins with the word then, like a child is telling the story. So stylistically a really interesting choice, and Maurice Gleitzman is quite a famous Australian kids author. This feels a little bit like childhood nostalgia for me, because when did these books come out? 2005, 2008. So I had just finished high school when they came out, which is why I probably didn't pick them up, because they were written for middle school readers. And so that is my reading week. In the comments, I'd love to know, have you read any of these books? Or are you planning on picking any of them up? Feel free to let me know down below. Otherwise, feel free to share something that you're excited to read in the coming weeks. Me personally, I have 2 more weeks until I'm on 2 weeks leave, which is not my school holidays. It's just 2 weeks leave that I've taken, and I cannot wait. I am hoping to just have, unlike my school holidays, I'm hoping to have a few days where I'm at home and I can just sit and read, and that's it. Or read and craft. Either of the 2. Like, I would like a replica of my last weekend, but over multiple days. I don't know what I'm planning on reading in the next week. We'll just see. It'll be whatever I feel like reading, really. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, everyone.